Welcome to another episode of Potion Sword Run. I'm Original Seed. And in this episode, I'm going to be going over a bunch of news that I missed this week. So sit back, relax, and let the good times roll. And today I'm going to start with Xbox. Specifically, Xbox in Japan. It has been said that Xbox has lowered the price of the Xbox Series S in Japan to $285. Now, Phil Spencer came out and said that it is not because of the PlayStation 5, but rather that they're listening to the players that they have in Japan, and $280 is the right price when you consider exchange rates. But that's not all. Last week, they also introduced the Xbox Series S official Japanese mascot. That's right. The Japanese gamers across the pond have a brand new mascot for the Xbox Series. Now, of course, here in the US, Master Chief is the mascot, but in the land of the squid, they just had to get a little bit more weird with it, and I approve. And now to some big news. Xbox overheating, burning down houses, they said. And it was all overblown. Probably from Sony fanboys who are mistaking it for the PlayStation 5 Controller. But still, this could not be left alone. Sony fans had to respond, and here's one from Wild Pony. And I gotta say, this one actually cracked me up. In fact, I started following this guy, Wild Ponies, specifically just for the memes. But the fake news don't stop there. In my recent video discussing the PlayStation 5 inner workings, I was accused of being a liar. Lying when I said that Xbox Series X will also support third-party expandable SSD drives. Now, we know that the Xbox brand SSD drive is gonna cost you over $200. But that's just the price you pay for getting name brand items. But don't worry, if you wanna go a cheaper route, you have that option. In time, you'll be able to pick up expandable third-party SSD drives for both the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5. Now, when it comes to the heat issues, PlayStation went with the humongous Heatsink and liquid metal to cool down everything around it. Sony pretty much went with the T100 model. Xbox instead went with the Arnold Schwarzenegger model. And guess what? They both work. Yes, heat is supposed to come out of your system. That's actually how you know that it's working. So Xbox's coming out a little bit toasty is a good thing. PlayStation's putting out hot air is a good thing. That's the whole point of having that huge liquid metal heat sink. If you have these high powerful electronics and they're not outputting heat, some shit's gonna mount inside your system. Simple as that. And now we're gonna move to some PlayStation 5 news. And we're gonna start off with Bugsnax, the game that everybody is sleeping on. I seriously think this game is gonna surprise a lot of people. It definitely surprised me when I learned that it's gonna be on the PlayStation 4 as well. I thought that Sony believed in generations. I guess not when it comes to selling games. Unless that's if they want to sell you a remaster, that is. But I think it's good news. Anybody that hasn't been able to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 can still get this killer app. Besides the awesome feature of blowing into your PlayStation 5 controller, the light on the controller will also indicate which player you are. Pretty much the same thing that the Xbox 360 controller did about 2 generations ago. But that's not a burn on Sony. In fact, I love it when these companies get inspiration and improve their products. The Xbox Series controllers now have a share button that I'm gonna share the out of. And that's pretty much it for the PlayStation. I mean, seriously, I'm looking, but I really can't find anything that's interesting to me. Now we're gonna move on to third party, starting off with the Dreamcast Mini, and that is a probably. Sega's Yosuke Okunari was talking about the future of Sega's mini consoles. With the Game Gear Micro being released in Japan recently, Okunari started thinking about other projects that Sega could decide on making in the future. And one that he mentioned was the Sega Dreamcast. Now, the Sega Dreamcast has so many classic games. It was actually a pretty cool console that was eventually killed off by the PlayStation. One of the main reasons it took me a while to jump into the PlayStation ecosystem. I was just mad. But now there's hope, and I can guarantee that this system will not be like the PlayStation Mini. This one will actually sell like hotcakes. But one game that went from hot to cold is Marvels Avengers. That's right. Marvel's numbers are way down. So much that it makes it difficult to find people to play with. Now, this game only came out about a month ago, but even then, I knew this was a cash grab. I warned you not to get this game. Now, the developers feel confident that people will come back. Probably when they release new characters such as Spider-Man and so on. But I think that's wishful thinking. I do not think anybody is going to want to come back and pay $10 extra to jump into a game that is practically dead. Now, the only way that I see this game being saved is if they actually walk away from it being a live service. But given that the whole point of this game was to nickel and dime the players, I don't see that changing. But don't worry, better games are coming out soon. The Medium finally got a launch release date, and it'll be coming out December 10th. Skipping the console launches, but I think that is a good thing since it's gonna be crowded. And given a few weeks, about probably a month after the console's launch, you're gonna need a game to play. And if you're an Xbox owner, you can grab the Medium. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave you off with some bad news. And that is that GameSpot is gonna be laying off a lot of workers. And it's definitely devastating right now during the pan and these record unemployment numbers, especially when Congress isn't doing anything to help the working class. So even though I don't agree with a lot of these mainstream medias, I definitely do not wish ill on workers. But given the trends, it's gonna be tough to keep a job as a video game journalist. CNET was originally bought by CBS for $1.8 billion. And it was recently sold to Red Ventures for $500 million. So it seems during these trying times, companies are trying to save money out there and they're taking it out on the workers. But that's not all. When it comes to a company like Google, they don't just fire employees, they quit on products entirely. And another one bites the dust. Daydream VR will no longer be supported by Google. Now, for those of you that don't know what Daydream VR is, it's essentially a affordable VR system where you can attach your Pixel phone to it and experience VR. Now, this definitely isn't surprising, but the only reason I'm reporting on it is because it's a warning to those who are investing in Stadia. Right now, Stadia doesn't look to be in a great position. They have competition coming from all sides, from Amazon and from Microsoft. So if they continue to lose customers, I can see them walking away from Stadia and walking away from you. Now that's gonna do it for this episode. Remember, when shit's the fan, run.